Jai Hind to all. This is Santosh Kumar Mishra from IT department of AKGEC, and in today's lecture, I will cover how the string handling is done in C programming, and we will cover structure and union also. So let's start the class now. Firstly, we will study what the string is. In C programming, the string is a collection of array. It's just a array of character. It's a array of character only. Means, as we all know that array is a homogeneous collection of data, and that homogeneous data type is of character type, then that homogeneous collection of character type data is called a string in C programming. In other languages there are classes for handling string, but in C programming string is just a array of character. And so before using any of the string you have to declare that. Let's start what the string constant is. This may be treated as a string constant, like I have written C space programming and in double quotes I have written it, so it's a string constant. And like computer, here I have written, for using any of the string you have to first declare the array of character type. So here I have declared a character type array named string name, and in square bracket in this subscript we will mention the size, where we mention the number of character that you have to enter in that string. So firstly we need to declare an array of character type whenever we want to use a string in C programming. So for example, I want to store the name of a student. For that we have to declare a name array of character type. Let's the number of character in the student name is of 20 character, so we will mention 20 at the size place. So this way firstly we have to declare a character type array. Whatever name of the array you want you can mention. Here you will mention the size of that array. So after declaring a array of character type, this way we can initialize a string in that array. Like I have declared and initialized the string simultaneously. Here I have declared a char type name array of 20 size, and I have initialized a space string in that array. Similarly this way also I can store, I have declared a character type str array of 10 size, and here I have stored different comma separated characters. And one thing have to be noted, whenever we store a string in character type array, compiler automatically store a null character at the end of the string in C. So if I have stored AJAY, it will automatically store null character, that is also called /0 character, at the end of this array. And one more thing have to be taken care, that this null character is not the part of the size of the string. If I have stored a space string in the character array, this way a space means a will be stored at the index position 0, at index position 1 space will be stored, space is also a character, and this way at the last the null character will be stored. So whenever we assign a string to any character array, the compiler automatically store a null character at the end. We need not to store it, but it will be automatically stored. But whenever you create your own string, that we will see later on through programming, we will create some string, and whenever you create your own string, it is our responsibility to put a null character at the end of that string, so that that string may be treated as a complete string. Okay, so these are the functions for taking input string. If you want to input a string, the scanf function may be used, the getS function may be used, or getChar function may be used. Scanf function and getF function both takes a string as a input. The only difference is that whenever we take a string input by scanf function, a string with space may not be taken as the input, because whenever a space arises, the compiler terminate the scanf function. It understood that scanf function gets complete, and whenever, so if you want to store a string that has space, in that situation you have to use the getS function. So and getChar function, you can take character by character, one character you can read, and this get function may be put in a loop and we can take a number of character. So for printing the output we use printf function, putf function and putChar function. Printf and putS both may print a string that have space also. The only problem is of taking input. Whenever we take input a string, we have to select whether you want to use a scanf function or getF function. If a string has a space, then you should use getS function, otherwise you may use scanf function. So but in printing the output there is no problem, you can use either printf or putS function. putChar is similar to the getChar. getChar is used to take the character and putChar is used to print the character. So I have already told what is the difference between getS and scanf. getS can take a string that have input space, but scanf cannot take a string as input that has null white space, means that has a space. So we have to choose whatever is our requirement. There are certain predefined functions that has been defined that takes some input and perform our desired task, and those all predefined string functions has been defined in the string.h header file. So whenever you want to use a predefined functions of a string, you have to include this header file, and this header file contains strlen, and in this function calculate the length of a string, and whatever string you will pass to this strlen, it will calculate the length, means number of character in that string. strcmp is used to compare to a string. strcpy is used to copy a string to a source to a destination string. strcat is used for concatenation of the string. strrev is used to reverse a string. strupr is for converting the string from lowercase to uppercase, and strlwr is used to convert the string from uppercase to lowercase. So this predefined function may be used whenever you require that. Correspondingly, we will see programmatically how can we do it. So first start strlen function. strlen function is used to find the length of a string. Like if I have passed a string in strlen function, it will calculate the length of that string and return that we will store on in that. strlen will just give the count of the number of characters that are present in the string. So that count may be assigned to some integer type variable. Like I have written a program here, there I have declared a character type array. I have declared this character type array. Let's take a pen. I have declared this character type array, okay, and here I have written a message, enter a string, and that string has been taken input by getS function in this array str. and whenever user will input, that will be stored in this array str, and whenever we pass this str to strlen function, it will find the length of that str string and it will return the length, and that we will store a integer type variable n, and finally we may print that length. So this way you can find the length of a string. This is a this way, by this predefined function you can use, but there is a mechanism, there is a way that if here we enter a string computer, when the message arises, enter a string, and we enter computer as a string, so and this will go to strarray. Strarray has been passed to this strlen function, it will calculate the length, that will be returned to n, and n will be printed. So how many characters are there? What is the length of this string? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So 8 characters are there, so length equals to 8 will be printed. This way you can find the number of character, the length of a string by predefined function. So here there is strcpy function. This function copy the, here we will pass two variables. The first variable will contain the source string, and this second variable has a blank array, and this source string will be copied to this destination string by this predefined strcpy function. Here is the program. I have declared a str1 array and str2 array of character type for taking a string we will store. Firstly I have written enter a string message, and then this string has been input by getters function in str1 array. This first string, whatever the user will input, will go to this str1 array, and then we call strcpy str2 comma str1, means this is the source string, this one is the destination string, means source string has been input, so str1 will be copied to str2, and whenever we will print str2, it will be printed. So we can print this by printf function or putf function, both. We can write also here printf %s is the format specifier for string, and we can write str2. This way you can use this one also, or you can use this putf function also. So this way you can copy str1 to str2. So if we input a string computer, if we program starts, this message arises, enter a string, user enter computer, computer will go to the str1 array, and when you copy str1 to str2, str2 contains the same string as str1, means this will be copied to str2, and whenever you put str2, whenever you print str2, this same string will be printed. This way you can copy a string. So here is strcat function. This is used to concatenate two strings. Source string will be concatenated to the destination string. So here there I have declared two arrays, str1 and str2 of character type. A first string has been entered to str1, and when second string str2 has been entered, two strings are here, and strcat cat has been called. str1 comma str2 means this str2 will be concatenated with str1 if str2 is, let's say str2 is ec and str1 is akg. So whenever we will call strcat, the complete it will concatenate akg and ec, and the resultant string will be stored in str1, and whenever we will put str1, the AKG ECV complete string will be, this concatenated string will be printed. Here if I have taken first string str1 as computer, second string str2 as programming, and whenever we will concatenate str1 and str2 we will find computer programming. So this way you can concatenate. strrev is used to reverse a string, and this function is a in place function, means what I have declared a str1 string, I have input this str1, and whenever I call strrev, this strrev and I have passed str1, means this str1 will be reversed in place, means the same string will be reversed and will be stored in str1. So if now if I print, it will, if I print str1, the reverse string will be printed. So if I input test as a str1, whenever strrev will called and passed str1, then it will reverse that string and putS function will print that. This way you can reverse a string. This strupr will convert the lowercase string to the uppercase string. Let str1 has been input and I called strupr, I have passed there str1, and whenever it will be called, all the lowercase string will be converted to the uppercase, all the lowercase character will be converted to the uppercase, and whenever I will print that, that uppercase string will be printed. If I input computer like this as a string, that whole character, all character will be converted to the uppercase letter, and whenever you print it, it will be printed like in uppercase. So strlwr will do the reverse of strupr. Whenever I will pass str1 to the strlwr, all the uppercase letter will be converted to the lowercase, and whenever I will print that, that will be, if I input computr like this, com is uppercase, putr is in lowercase, and whenever this string will be passed to this strlwr, all the character will be converted to the lower form. This way you can use the predefined functions of string.h. Now how you can use this same programming, how can create your own function, how can you write your own logic to do the same thing. Like if you want to find the length of your string, how can you write your own logic? So firstly let's start understand. If I don't want to use strlen function for calculating the length of the string, so how can you write your own logic? We are going to understand that. So firstly I have created a character array S and write the message to enter a string, and that string has been input by getS function in S array. So we can understand that whenever, let's say the user had enter a string programming, let user have enter a string programming. So this programming, if user have entered, I have read this by this getS function, this is the array S and it is of 50 size. So 50 bytes of blocks has been created, and whenever you, if you enter programming, this programming will be stored here like this. This programming will be stored here. Let's understand it. Whenever this programming string has been stored in this array that we have already declared, I have already told you that C compiler will automatically store /0 means null character at the end of the string. So if we want to find what is the length of this string, means if we want to find how many number of characters are there in this string, in that situation we will traverse each character and count it by some counter variable, and we will traverse until /0 is assigned. Until /0 arise, जब तक /0 न मिल जाए, जब तक ये नल करेक्टर न मिल जाए, तब तक एरे को हम लोग ट्रावर्स करते रहेंगे और काउंटिंग करते रहेंगे एक काउंटर वेरिएबल लेकर के. सो आई हैव written this for loop. I can use while loop also. I have written here this for loop. So I have initialized I equals to 0 and checked if s of I is 0 means s of I is 0 means s of 0 we are talking about. If s of I means if s of 0 does not have /0, in that situation the control will move to this for loop, and we can see that I have terminated this for loop here. So we need not to do anything. Whenever this condition is true, the control will just go to the I plus plus. The I plus plus means I is 0, s of I is means s of 0 is not /0 because s of 0 has p, it is not /0. So this condition is true. If this condition is true, control will move to this loop, but this loop does not have any body, so control will not go to the body part, it will just move to the I plus plus, and the I plus plus will become 1 because I is initially 0, it will now become 1. So after this the control will come to here again to the condition if s of 1 is not equals to /0, control will again go to I plus plus, and it will keep on incrementing this I until this /0 is not arise. So at the end I has the number of character that this string have. So this way what we have to do, this I now contains the number of character, we have to just print that is the length, the number of character is the length of the string, so we have to just print that by this printf function. This way you can find the length of the string. The another way of finding the length of a string is like this. I have initialized I equals to 0, I have initialized, I have declared a variable I equals to 0, counter C equals to 0, and we will check while s of I is not equals to /0, is not equals to null character, until then we have to move to this body, and we will just increment this counter variable. We will just increment this counter variable C. So and then I will iterate this loop variable I, and this way I will be keep on incremented, and this counting will be kept on doing, and this way until the /0 null character is not find, the loop will increment this counter variable, and this way you can count the number of character in this string s. And finally you have to print this C. This way by the for loop or by the while loop, by any of the loop you can find the number of character, the length of the string by your own logic like this. Okay. So now let's move ahead, and we want to use this strcpy function. We want to implement this strcpy function by our own logic. We do not want to copy that. We do not want to copy the string, one string to the another string by predefined function. We want to write our own logic. So I have declared a source string S, and I will copy it to this array C, and I have declared a loop variable. Firstly, I have written a message enter a string, and getS, by getS I have entered this string to this S array. So I have traversed this array. I have written this for loop I equals to 0, S of I is not equals to /0 I plus plus, means it will keep on traversing each of the character of the string until we do not find this null character. So firstly I will be 0, and S of 0 is not equals to null character, then the S of 0 will be copied to the C of 0, means first character, that is at the index 0 of S of 0 will be copied to the C of 0, and now I will be incremented. After that I will become 1, and S of 1 will be copied to the C of 1. Now I will be incremented to 2, S of 2 will be copied to the C of 2, and this will keep on copying until this null character has arisen. And we can see that whenever I reach to the null character of S, it will stop, it will not go to the loop body, and after this loop we will just assign this null character to that position of I, and this, so that this copied string that you have logically copied by your own logic may be completed. So this C has been created now by your own logic, by copying the each and every character of S string until the null character has arisen, and finally we may put it by put S C, and we can see that the string S has been copied. And I have input a computer, I have a input computer to this S string, and after this logic I have copied to the S, to the C, and whenever I put this C, this same string will be printed. So this way you can copy a string character by your own logic. One mistake the students generally do, they does not put this null character to the copied string. That makes your program wrong, because this C will not be, if it is not, if you don't have put the null character, this string will not be completed and it will be not printed whenever you put it into the putS function. So this way, now how can you reverse a string by your own logic? For reversing a string, I have declared a S string, and I will reverse it and put to this R array. Firstly I have input a string by this getS function, and I put it into the S array, and I traverse this S array by the same logic. What I have done here, I have just find the length of the string by this for loop, as I have already told you in the first program how to find the length of the string by your own logic. You can use the strlen function also, but if you don't want to use that, you can find that by this logic, this I will find the length of this string Si, that I have already explained. So you have find the length of the first string S. So I contains that. Now we will start another for loop. Here the I is initialized to I minus 1. Since let's a string, I have input a string, let's say test. Let's say this getS has a string test. This S has a string TEST, and at the last it will be /0, and I want to reverse it and put it into the R array. This contains, this is the array also. So firstly this I find the length of the string, that is 1 2 3 4, 4 is the value of I. by this for loop, upper for loop. Whenever I start this lower for loop, I is initially, for this for loop I equals to I minus 1, means I become 3, and j equals to 0, I have initialized another variable also, and if I is greater than equals to 0, that is true, then this, if this condition true, the control will move to this body of the for loop, and here it will assign s of 3 to the r of j value is 0, j equals to 0. So it will assign s of 3, means I is 3, so s of 3 will be assigned to r of 0, s of 3, s of 0, s of 1, s of 2, s of 3. S of 3 will be assigned, s of 3 will be assigned to r of 0, means this s of 3 t will be assigned to r of 0, means this t will be stored here. What we are doing, we have reached to the length of the string here, and we set the pointer to just below this length, and we assign this character to the first position of the required array, and this way it will, now the control will go, it will create j plus plus, means j will become 1, I will become minus minus, means I will become minus 1, means I will become 2, and it will assign s of 2 to the r of 1, s of 2 means this one will be stored to r of 1, means here it will be copied, and this way it will keep on storing, the next e will be stored here and t will be stored here. And this way what you have to do, since this j is keep on incrementing, and whenever it will reach here the control will be become false, so what you have to put, you have to assign /0 to the this jth position of reverse string. So this way you can reverse a string by your own logic, you just have to print that by put s, and I have written this r array in this putf function. This way by your own logic you can, create the reverse of a string. You need not to use the strrev function, and it is very important, if you want to develop our own logic, you have to understood how this functions, this operations are being performed without using the predefined functions. Now if we want to check whether a string is palindrome or not, for that we have to keep a string, we have to reverse that and put it into the another string, and we have just to compare that string, if both are same then the string are palindrome or not. One thing the students have to kept in mind, then to checking whether a number is palindrome or not and whether a string is palindrome or not, the logic are same but the concepts are different. In number, to check whether a number is palindrome or not, we just use modulus and slash operator, modulus to extract a number and slash to change that number, and by using that logic we check whether we find the reverse of the number and you compare just by if. But here in whenever you want to check whether a string is palindrome or not, we use some different logic. So we have to keep in mind whether the question has been asked for a string palindrome or number palindrome. Let us, I have entered a string in S array and I have find the length of that array, and after that I just reverse that, as I have just seen in we have just seen in the previous program. This R, by this logic, this R has the reverse string and this S has a original string, and now we want to check whether each and every character of R and S, R has the reverse string, S has the original string. We want to check whether each and every character of both the string are same or not. If they are not same, if any of the character of any position is not same, the string is not palindrome, otherwise it will palindrome. So I have just written this for loop for accessing this s of I is 0 means s of 0, it will keep on accessing each character, and I checked if s of I is not equals to r of I, r is 0. So, and since s has the original string and r has the reverse string, means the number of characters are same in both the string. So I is 0, s of 0 is not /0, it will come to here and check if s of 0 is not r of 0. If first character of both the string are not same, whenever and if this happens, control will go to the this if block, and otherwise if both the character are same at that position, control will not come here, it will come outside this, means it will only come here when this condition arises. Otherwise, after s of 0 is /0, s of 0 is not equals to r of 0, condition not satisfied, means s of 0 and r of 0 are same, control will again come to I plus plus, I will be incremented, and s of 1 means I will become 1, s of 1 will check whether s of 1 is not equals to r of 1, it is also same, the control will again go to I plus plus, means हर एक करेक्टर को चेक करता रहेगा, जो भी करेक्टर यदि सेम नहीं होगा वैसे ही t की वैल्यू 1 करके ब्रेक करके बाहर आ जाएगा, अदरवाइज I प्लस प्लस से नेक्स्ट करेक्टर को उठाएगा, I की वैल्यू इंक्रीमेंट हो जाएगी और S के नेक्स्ट इंडेक्स की वैल्यू R के नेक्स्ट इंडेक्स वाले करेक्टर से चेक होगी, यदि वो सिमिलर है तो कंट्रोल यहाँ अंदर आएगा ही नहीं, यदि डिसिमिलर है देन कंट्रोल विल मूव टू हियर and next character will be checked. This way, character by character we can check if any of the character is not same. In that situation, this t will become 1, otherwise initially it is 0, and after that break, after t becomes 1, break will jump the control outside this for loop, and after that we will check if t becomes 1, means string is not palindrome, because this situation arises at any of the character, so it will not palindrome. But if it is not like that, if t is not equals to 1, means this situation does not arises any times, in that situation the string is palindrome. So this way we can check whether a string is palindrome or not. It is very important program, string handling is very important concept. So you and every programmer, every student must try to write the program by your own logic without using the predefined functions. And as a first year students, you must practice how to write your own logic, how to access each and every character, and after that you can, whenever you understood the logic, you can use the predefined function also whenever your your of life start for programming. You will go to the industry, there you can use that, but in as a first year student you should not use. I am summarizing this. I have told what the string is. A string in C is a array of character, and taking input we may use scanf function or getas function or getchar function, primarily getas and scanf. Scanf cannot read a string that contains space, so getas function is preferred, and for printing the string you use printf function or puts function, any of the function may be used. For printf function you use %s format specifier, and then I have explained a number of predefined string function, and after that we have tried to devise those function by writing our own logic. So in next lecture I will explain the structure, union and some user defined data types, and that is very important. I have planned for today, but we will cover in the next lecture how the structure and unions and some predefined some user defined function like enumerated data type, type def we will cover in the next lecture. Okay, thank you, thanks a lot.